Hi again, guys. So I'm going to make this video on a slightly different topic. So I'm going to back away from the topic I was hoping to continue in a previous video, but I realized that it was somewhat not aligned with my current goals in 2022, and specifically health goals. And I realized I also haven't made a health video relating to piano so far, and there needs to be one. The main thing is health, and mainly longevity, is very important, and it's something that I really wish I was more of a convincing person for my family, just because of all the videos on YouTube specifically I've been watching. And I think it might be good to reference these videos down below whenever this goes live. So I'm going to start this topic actually not talking about piano, and then I'll weave into it and show how health and piano relate. So some key facts. I'll start talking about longevity and why I'm actually putting this into practice, especially in the last few months. Longevity just means a longer life. Aging is the common term, is aging, which is technically like not what it is. It's a sickness. And there is a video I'll reference, which is like, what? No one talks about aging as sickness. I know, and that's like something that I've come across recently, and that's why it's worth sharing. But longevity is the term that this scientist came up with, and longevity is basically keeping your body in a young state. And this doesn't have to do with taking too much medication or something completely unnatural. You can do it completely naturally. It's just no one knows about it because our focus is not on reversing aging. So he talks about these in the video. I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but basically the main thing is eating less. I've been doing this actually for 3 years. I've been skipping a meal as often as I can. And recently I've been doing that every day. And some days I don't even eat. And I feel great. Well, not entirely. Like, basically it's the same thing people do with exercise. And the thing is, exercise is great and everyone should do it. There's not a single video I've come across where the activity of exercise is skipped as a discussion for health. So absolutely you should do it. But know that our eating diet, as any exercise video will say, is the most important of all. It's like the 90%. And it will also reverse aging, believe it or not. So eating 3 meals a day is actually bad. And again, I'll reference that down below. So the main reason why health is coming up here is that one of the main things is that once you're healthy, your mind is healthy and clear, which means you can focus. So focus is when I have a bunch of other tasks. A good example is here is I have a lot of tabs open on the other screen. I could click on any one of those tabs and watch it, but the moment I focus, I know I'm no longer interested in that. And instead I'm focusing to one thing and focusing on that. So the idea of focusing is saying yes to one option and no to all other options. And this achieves focus. And one more thing to relate to piano here is once you're practicing more healthy habits and your mind is clear and you're focusing, well, so to anyone who has not learned piano or is unfamiliar, piano is multifaceted, which means there's many integral parts to it. The 3 things I relate this to, there's oral, the listening to what you're playing, touch, which is physically playing, sounding the keys, and then that translates into what you hear. And then 3 is reading. Well, one thing you should know is multitasking is a myth. No one can actually do it. It's just people get very good at switching in between, back and forth between many different tasks. But you're still focusing on one of those at a time. So if everyone could truly multitask, piano would not be nearly the challenge that it is. So focus is key. And that's why, especially in the way that I approach it and I teach it, is you really want to focus on one at a time. It's very hard to do that because your mind wants to get it quickly, but you have to force it and trick your mind into achieving this. So the main way to even start off with that is you have to have focus. Have to have focus. And health, and I've kind of covered this a little bit in previous videos, but the health part is really the important first puzzle piece to get that going. So you have to have a healthy mind. I guess the last main thing I'll mention here, because I don't want to just reference the videos. So basically there are healthy habits that will help you focus better, and you might not be doing all of them. But to kind of tie into focus and health, I have a quote which is, "How you do one thing is how you do everything." And this is absolutely true, and it's a very reassuring thing to keep in mind, because when you think about it, it really is true, because everyone has a different perception of what is really easy and what is really hard. That has to do with how you perceive it. It's all in context. So to a lot of people, piano is hard because it's a very difficult instrument to dissect the parts. Where people might think singing is easy, but I'm contrary to that. I think singing is very difficult. So we all have our different views and context for things, but that is really how we've ever achieved anything ever. If you really think about it and then just really meditate on the idea, you can really achieve anything just keeping that in mind. How you've done one thing is how you've done everything, really. And kind of tying into meditation a little bit, it's kind of this final health topic is yoga nidra, which I've not tried, which is essentially so I've tried meditating every day and failed. So this is not something I've tried yet, but it's my next goal along with my health goals for 2022. So it's essentially laying in place, but it's a lot more focused than that. So it's focused lying down in place, which sounds amazing. So that's certainly something that I'm going to look into. And then the last thing to end this video off with is that, and I mentioned in a previous video, but to anyone that has not learned an instrument, you really should learn your first instrument today. It's hard to maintain and have discipline to keep practicing, but once you have focus and you go after learning that one instrument you've always wanted to learn, you have that for life. So to tie off health and longevity and knowing how to play a musical instrument, you have a great new start to your life. So that's pretty much what I got for this video, and see you in the next one.